Hello everyone, in this video I will be showing you how to get all of the achievements in Mogu'shan vaults, which count towards the glory of the Pandaria Raider achievement. You can use the menu on screen to get to the achievement that you need if you've already done some, and you can use the two little options at the bottom to go to the different parts of this guide. If you don't know how to find the instance, you can find it in Kunlai Summit at Mogu'shan Terrace. For this raid, the group composition you will need is 1 tank, 1 healer, 1 DPS with a tank off-spec, 1 DPS with a pet that they themselves can heal, such as a hunter or a warlock, and however many other DPS that you want. This may seem like a strange layout for an old raid, but it all fits into the future achievements within the raid itself. The first achievement that we will be doing inside the raid is Must Love Dogs. This achievement is by far the easiest in this raid. All you have to do is summon a K9 pet before killing anything in the instance. That includes trash. So pretty much enter the raid, summon your Perky Pug or any other dog pet such as a Corehound, then kill the trash and bosses. Once you've done the first boss, you will get your achievement. Now on to the second achievement of the raid. Anything you can do, I can do better. For this achievement, you will need 2 tanks, so tell your off-spec tank that their time to shine is nigh. Have one of your tanks pick up the Shroud of Reversal, which is the purple floating gem on the left. This gem allows the tank to target a player who is affected by a spell and steal it. Once the tank has stolen the spell, they must then target the boss and use the spell on him. You might be wondering why it has to be a tank that picks up the Shroud. Well, it's because unfortunately DPS and healers are not allowed to pick up the Shroud. In this fight, there are 3 spell phases. The first phase will trigger on Pool. During phase 1, he will cast 2 spells that can be stolen. The first spell is Epicenter. This is an ability that is channeled. Once the boss starts to channel it, click on your main tank that is holding the boss and use the Shroud of Reversal on him. Then walk up to the boss, target him, and channel the ability fully onto him. The second spell in this phase is Lightning Fists. Stealing this spell requires one of your DPS or one of your healers to run onto the AoE ability that shifts across the floor. While that player is standing in it, you can click on them and steal the spell using the Shroud. Same as before, you will then target the boss and use his own ability against him. Just to make sure you have done it, it's always good to double up and do each spell twice. Now that you've stolen both of those spells, you can start to slowly shift him into phase 2. And by slowly, I really do mean slowly. Sometimes he does bug and decides not to shift to the next phase if you do a little bit too much damage. If a big weapon spawns and he runs to it, then you have successfully shifted into phase 2, and with that you will have 2 new spells. Only one of these spells, however, counts towards the achievement. The ability that does not count is another ability that the boss channels. All you have to do is wait until the boss begins to cast Draw Flame, then when he is casting it, target your main tank and channel your Shroud onto them to steal the spell. Then walk up to him and use it. This is basically a practice run for a similar spell in phase 3. Now on to the spell that actually matters in this phase, Wildfire Spark. This ability gives a player in your raid a debuff that explodes after 5 seconds. It's pretty easy to spot as the player will turn a dark purpley red and have a bit of fire on them as well. Stealing this spell works just like the others. Target the player, use your Shroud on them, then walk up to the boss and use the ability. Now that you have successfully stolen all the spells from phase 2, you can move on to phase 3. This phase has the final 2 abilities that you will need to steal. The first spell that you will be stealing in this phase is Arcane Resonance. This ability will select a random player and cause them to continuously burst with arcane energy. To steal this spell, you do exactly what you did with the others. Target the player, use the Shroud, and then cast the ability onto the boss. And now for the very last spell that you will be stealing. Arcane Velocity. This spell is a channeled spell which does AoE damage to the raid, and stealing it works exactly like the other spells. Use your Shroud on the main tank, target the boss, walk up to him and channel the entire spell into him. If all spells are stolen and dealt to the boss as I've shown here, then you will get that shiny achievement. Now on to the third achievement within this raid. Sorry, were you looking for this? Here is where that DPS with a healable pet is going to be important. This player needs to send in their pet to tank the boss. Note that nobody else should attack the boss at all during this encounter. The reason why is so that players do not get affected by a debuff called Voodoo Dolls, which stops the targeted players from entering the spirit world. After a while of doing nothing, a spirit totem will spawn on the floor. Once killed, it will transport up to 3 players to the spirit world. So what you will have to do is have 3 players who are not the person with the pet run inside of the totem's purple swirling mist. Then once 3 players are inside, they will use single target abilities to kill the totem. Now that those 3 players should have been transported to the spirit world, there will be a burning brazier in the center of the room. All players within the spirit realm should immediately click and channel it. The channel time on the brazier is reduced by half for each player that is channeling it, so you should get the achievement in just under 10 seconds, provided that everyone has clicked it. Give it a maximum of 15 seconds, and if the achievement doesn't pop, have your healer max your health up and then get out of the spirit world by clicking the ability it gives you. But if all goes well, you will get that shiny achievement. Now for the final achievement in Mogu'shan Vaults. Straight 6. This achievement requires you to defeat all of the pillars which pop up during the power downtime phase within 10 seconds. To allow this phase to proceed, when Elegon casts Focus Power, do not kill the electric orbs heading towards the pillars. During the power down phase, there will be 6 pillars in total, 3 on each side of the platform. The best way that we found was to spread ourselves out so that we could down the pillars as fast as possible. A group of 4 or 5 should be able to do it relatively easy. We managed to do it with 3, so it's not really that hard to do. You can also use things like dots to your advantage, as the timer only triggers when one of the pillars is destroyed. After you've killed the pillars, if you feel as if the time was 10 seconds or less, nuke down Elegon, and you should get that shiny achievement. I hope this guide helped you out. I will also be doing Heart of Fear over the next 2 days or so, and then the entire guide will be complete. If it did help you, then please hit that like button. If you want to see more videos from me, then hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.